Jacob.
Hey, Lucas.
Do you remember where you were when you watched Tiger Cruise?
I was right here with you.
Everybody remembers where they were when they watched this 2004 classic for the first time.
Yeah.
And we watched
Never
it
forget.
right here for a whole new podcast all about
Disney Channel original movies.
We're finishing each other's sentences and sandwiches. No, because that is not COVID safe. I am your host, COVID expert Lucas Melby.
I am your other host, Jakub Tellijohn.
Oof, that was sadder than 9/11 right there. All right, yes, we are back after quite a long time. Not you guys.
Not for you. You haven't missed us.
But Jacob and I have not recorded in about pretty much exactly a month. We haven't.
Month skis.
Well, we've seen each other in the time in between.
Yes,
unfortunately.
For
WrestleMania, yes. 37. Almost as many as DCOMs we've watched. What? But yes, we are back in. Oh boy, we came back. We wanted to
the hot zinger,
swing hard,
chicken winger.
And no lie, this movie we watched today, Tiger Cruise.
I was hoping there'd be tigers. Did you see what I wore today?
For the listeners at home, he is wearing
a Tiger Cub shirt.
Looks like two Siberian tigers, white tigers on a definite thrift store find shirt.
Yes, but we didn't get any tigers today.
No tigers.
We did get a tiger cake, though.
This is not like Nicolas Cage was in some movie recently. I can't remember the name, but it was like he's a big game hunter, capturer person, and he's on a ship with wild animals, but also they're transporting a killer criminal or something, and the criminal gets out. It's apparently not a good movie. I think it's called Primal, maybe?
Interesting.
But no, we do not get that in Tiger Cruise. This is the Disney Channel movie that dared to ask, hey, do you remember September 11th, 2001? So knowing that, I didn't realize that this movie, and it doesn't hide it for very long, that this movie, during the course of this movie, they do the 9/11.
Yeah, they do.
It happens. Them darn terrorists there did a 9/11 during this DCOM.
Yeah.
But I knew this came out in 2004. It was on a military ship, so it's like, this seems like pro-patriotic military stuff that we got a lot of in the after years after 9/11 and getting into the Iraq War and all that sort of stuff. So I wasn't looking forward to it. And it's not a bad movie, but...
No, like we had kind of talked, maybe it was going to be like way... It didn't feel too overboard.
It was pretty heavy-handed, and...
I don't know, I didn't feel too over.
Essentially, if 9/11 didn't happen during this movie would have no point. Like, there's not a lot that actually happens in this movie.
No, I mean, it was around
that's
the events.
Inconsequential mostly. 9/11 happens, and then we just get like some... military drama, sad people porn, and then the movie ends. So I was not looking forward to it, and my notes kind of reflect that I still took like a page, but these are probably some of my loosest notes. So we won't give the usual in-depth, very meticulous play-by-play because, as I said, there's not a lot of consequence that really happens in this movie. There's just kind of different scenes, and we'll call out some of the funnier or more notable ones as we go along. Yeah. And, we're kind of easing back into this podcast game. And then we'll be getting into some heavy swingers full of fantastical stuff going forward.
Our next one, I think, even.
We're returning to a classic DCOM franchise soon. But before that, we have to live through the Tiger Cruise. So we immediately were opening up over a panning shot of what I believe is a naval base. Yeah. I don't know where it is, but it's a naval base somewhere, and we get the title card, Tom Cruise. No, unfortunately, it's not Top Gun or Mission Impossible.
It has the Top Gun design of Tiger Cruise.
It looks like a
textual.
It's kind of styled after a badge or a pin or something that might be on a military uniform. But, oh man, if it was just a movie about Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise in a DCOM. What a life.
We're quickly introduced to our main character, Maddie, who is played by Hayden Panettiere, who Shortly
Yes.
after this, I think, would go into being on Heroes, which is a show that I think when it came out was very popular, and then quickly everybody hated it, but it still ran for 4 seasons.
And you said Nashville.
Did we confirm that, or was I just guessing?
I think you're right.
Okay.
I'll look quick.
I also know her as she played Kairi in the first couple of Kingdom Hearts games. So that is her biggest claim to fame, as anybody who's ever voiced a Kingdom Hearts character.
Okay.
Haley Joel Osment, he's not the kid from Sixth Sense. He is Sora in all of the Kingdom Hearts games.
Hayden Panettiere is the lead actress in Nashville,
All
which
right.
is running since 2012 and stopped in 2018.
Okay, so they don't say usually that it's been running since 2012, and it's not anymore.
90% Rotten Tomatoes. She did well.
Yeah, I think I heard people liked it. It just
She had success.
definitely is not my kind of movie. So she is talking to her sister, who is played by Jeannie,
The girl from
McCurdy, the girl who plays Sam in iCarly, who I did not realize that was her until I looked it up in the cast list, and we don't see her ever again. But she is preparing for the Tiger Cruise. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. What is it actually?
It's not about tigers.
It's some kind of real thing that the Navy does where they
Yeah.
invite family members. I don't know if it's probably just one person per family,
Yeah.
whether it's a daughter, son,
Father.
brother, father, mother,
Yeah.
any of those.
A family member.
You
yes.
gotta know them, though. No friends allowed
No
on
friends.
the
Gotta
USS
be blood.
Constellation. You know, it sounds cool, chilling out on
We
an
tried to figure out
aircraft
why
carrier.
they were called tigers.
Yes.
We didn't really get
I found one article that I was finding out that they are a real thing. The Tiger
Yeah.
Cruises do happen. Why are they called tigers? That was not in the article I found.
No.
Maybe it's out there, but it's a misleading name.
Yeah.
Maddie does not seem excited to go on this. And why is that? Well, she's got some daddy issues where
Papa issues.
I think Hayden Panettiere, hopefully I'm saying that right. I think she's a pretty good actress in this.
Yeah. No, I think she did it. I think a lot of the members of this cast did pretty well.
And we always go off on the family drama, the daddy
Yeah.
issues, the mommy issues. But this is pretty grounded and fair, where essentially she is going on this trip that she wants to convince her father to stop going on tours on a fucking ship all the time.
Yeah.
Because she misses her dad.
Yeah.
And we get one scene with her mom where we were like, why is this so like dramatic and serious? And
Yeah.
it's because she doesn't really want to go, but she wants to go because she wants to bring her dad home. Blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Whatever. Cut to New York City.
Bingo.
We get an immediate shot of the Twin Towers.
Yes.
So if it wasn't clear when this movie was taking place, it was pre 9/11, but only very pre 9/11.
Yeah, they had, I think when she was still at home, like with her sister, they had like September 2001. Like, they didn't have like a date, but it's September 2001.
We will soon get the days
the day
counting
by day.
down.
Yes.
So we are
Yes.
meeting Anthony, who is driving with his dad,
Papa, yeah.
who
Is familiar.
I think his name is Mike Lawrence or Martin Lawrence, or I don't know.
Martin Lawrence.
Not Martin Lawrence. It might be Mike Lawrence. He plays the character. Maybe I can't remember if his name's Big Mike, but he plays like the manager of the Buy More in Chuck, which was a show my friends and I enjoyed a lot when it was airing, but I have not watched or thought about it very much since then, so that's why I don't remember his name.
Oh, well.
But it was a fun show. It's a fun show.
Yes.
We are cutting to another kid at the airport, and his dad's like, "See you later, Tiger." And I am already tired of hearing Tiger referred to.
Yeah, so we never see his dad ever again.
Nope, his dad was in one of the towers.
Is that
he was in St. Louis.
But the kid prior to was.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're seeing maybe California, New York. Now we're in St. Louis, and now we're in Seattle, where we meet a girl named Tina. So this felt very much like, I believe it's Roland Emmerich, who directed Independence Day, which will have a connection to this movie we'll see in a little bit, but also The Day After Tomorrow. Always these big kind of disaster movies that have all these intercutting groups of people, sometimes countries apart.
Connecting in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, and Now we get the title card.
But it was directed by somebody we know, you said.
Well, Dwayne Dunham.
Dwayne Dunham, we've mentioned him. We've dropped that name before.
He's directed a number of DCOMs, and I was under the impression that he had directed some good ones, but actually looking at his list more recently, it was a lot of ones we didn't like very
What were some of those ones?
Right on Track.
Okay.
I think Ready to Run, which is our collective least favorite. But Dwayne Dunham does have some legit credits of working a lot with David Lynch, specifically on Twin Peaks and Twin Peaks: The Return, as an editor.
Yeah.
And I think he maybe directed a couple episodes of the original Twin Peaks, but he was also an editor on Return of the Jedi.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, kind of weird career path for him to be like, Return of the Jedi, Disney Channel original movies, and then back to prestige TV with David Lynch. So, kind of an interesting story for him. But yes, as we mentioned earlier, we get very Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask almost. Dawn of the first day of September 9th, 2001.
Yes. Oh, my.
Pearl Harbor. So they are all these people are flying to Hawaii. Despite being in different places from the start, they somehow all managed to be on the exact same flight to Hawaii.
Yeah. I don't know. They probably all met up at like a California airport.
California Pizza Kitchen.
Yeah. California to Pearl Harbor would probably have been the flight. When we say those 2,500 miles. Fun fact.
Yeah, we were so interested in this movie that we were looking up how fast planes can fly between California
it's about a 5.5 hour
and
flight.
Hawaii. So Tina, who we had mentioned briefly, she comes from Seattle. Her sister is a fighter pilot on the aircraft carrier, and she is super into the trip. She's annoying an old lady next to her, talking about, it's called the Tiger Cruise, yada, yada, yada. She's going off. And this old lady does not seem to like to talk to her, which is not my understanding of any old woman on a flight ever. They always want to talk to you. But she gets annoyed. But luckily, Hayden, who is getting annoyed by Anthony, the kid from New York, keep up now, who has drumsticks, and he's
always drumming the whole movie. It never stops.
Drumming on the seat ahead of him. So she goes, and there's a seat between this old lady and Tina.
And the older lady looks happy when she sits down.
But Tina starts to annoy Hayden as well because she asks, are you going to the Tiger Cruise? Are you a Navy brat?
Yeah, I'm not a brat. She says, I am not a brat, which is a callback.
This will telegraph her character growth throughout this movie. Because many times she'll say, I am not a brat.
Yes.
Until she doesn't.
Yes.
For whatever reason, maybe it's just Anthony and Hayden, but both of them think this trip is super fucking lame. Which Hayden, we kind of understand that.
Well, because she just has a distaste for her dad being in the military.
I don't know why Anthony is like, this fucking aircraft carrier with all these fighter jets around is super fucking lame.
Yeah, I don't know what and he was visiting his brother.
Yeah, so once they get onto the ship in Hawaii, his brother comes up and Anthony's kind of just blowing him off. And then they were on a real ship. There is some decent production value.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
We see actual jets. We see them taking off.
Yeah.
Even if some of it is archival footage of different film grain quality.
But it's definitely filmed on a ship.
Though there is some pretty glaring
green
screen at times. Yeah. And we are seeing that as they're getting on to the ship. And this is where we meet Maddie's father for the first time, who is played by Bill Pullman. Most notably in
Spaceballs.
Yes, Spaceballs.
That's where I knew him from.
Or Independence Day, where he plays the president. So that kind of tied me into that Roland Emmerich flavor that we were talking about. And he is the second in command on the ship.
Who's first? Do we meet him?
Yeah, he chews them out later in the movie.
But
they don't really make it clear that he's like the head honcho.
Yeah.
So they are at Pearl Harbor, and they're leaving, and they're passing by the monument, and Hayden...
USS Arizona.
Hayden likes to draw, so she's drawing the thing.
Yeah.
And Tina says, hey, what are you drawing? Oh, I'm drawing this because of Pearl Harbor. Don't you know where we are? Oh, Pearl Harbor? You mean like the movie? And then Jacob's favorite character, creepy old guy, comes up.
Oh, golly. That was weird.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to do your impression of him.
I don't remember what his line was.
Oh, he's When was Pearl Harbor? January.
Oh, yeah. I can't even remember the voice I was doing for him.
January. I'm fully admitting I don't know when this is. I think it's January 7th. January 7th. 1941. Yeah, it was a day like no other.
No other day.
Oh, yes, FDR said it would live in infamy. And he's just this...
Oh, God.
He is cast to be this way, but he is this overweight, very flabby white guy.
I think he is the dad from the Frankie Muniz boxcar movie.
I don't think that's true.
I'm pretty sure it's the same dad.
But
the enemy dad.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
The dad who says, you can't use a handbrake.
It's the same guy. It's gotta be.
Says, we should go to war with handbrakes.
We see him later on, like, huffing and puffing as he's climbing.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, he is overweight, but that's also played up to comedic effect in this movie where he needs to climb ladders.
Like, it's long. It's big. It's like a mile.
To go through
it's like a mile-long ladder.
Ladder hole. But yes, this is very heavy-handed where it's like,
I love America.
Pearl Harbor was the worst day for our country.
Yeah.
Parallels? Have you heard of 9/11? And I also got some Jaws vibes from this guy where I watched Jaws for the first time.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
Fairly recently. I had seen it as a kid, but... Well, there's a very long story about a real event of, I think it was the USS Indianapolis.
Where the shark ate all the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they were maybe trying to go for some of those vibes, too. But this guy... He's there for his son, who works in the galley.
And he makes cookies.
He seems to only make
cookies and cupcakes,
baked
desserts,
goods, cookies, cupcakes,
bread,
giant sheet.
He said
cakes.
we make 25,000 bread loaves a day or something weird. I don't know. I don't remember.
I thought the military had bad food, but I just could eat cookies.
But like we
sign me up.
Like we haven't even said how big this ship is. Like it is massive though. Like
so yeah, it is. I don't know if he said it is an aircraft carrier, but
it's huge.
So this is the USS Constellation, which was decommissioned in 2003. So it's possible that this is
they used it. That they used the
actual
real
ship.
one.
Because they're wearing hats and stuff that say the USS Constellation. So this movie came out in 2004, decommissioned in 2003. So somewhat adds up, and it would also be one that was kind of crappy enough that
it was active in 2001.
That they would send out Tiger cruises on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So now we just get into kind of random observations that we have of the movie because, we get the setup of this is the Tiger cruise, and now we're just kind of like on the Tiger cruise.
Yeah.
So we mentioned that Hayden likes to draw, so she draws caricature art for all of the kids.
They're pretty good. Not that she was drawing them, but they were good.
Some kid says, draw me like Arnold.
They go,
this little kid, Joey, who is like a Cub, he always wears a Cub Scout uniform. He's actually played by Hayden Panettiere's little brother.
Oh, wow, there's three.
And he loves to eat soft serve ice cream, or he's very excited to eat soft serve ice cream, so he gets a big bowl.
But he calls it the dog shit.
Yeah, a big bowl of like spooled of chocolate ice cream, so we're like, oh, that looks kind of gross. And then he says, oh, that's why they called it the dog machine. And I'm like, we're getting that in a DCOM?
Yeah.
But he continues to love to eat it throughout the rest of the movie.
He eats it so much he gets sick.
But then he still wants more later on.
There were some specifics. I wish I remembered all the specifics about the ship because it was kind of cool. Like, we know there are apparently 800 civilians on the Tiger cruise. I don't buy it. The crew was.
That seems insane.
Well, yeah, I believe it. And they're like,
because that would mean there's at least like 800 crew members assigned to like each of those family members. Then, So I don't know.
I believe it.
Where are they fitting all those people? They just always have 800 extra spaces there.
Maybe.
Crazy. Then we get introduced to Lieutenant Tim, who is just a really creepy guy because he goes up and says, hey, Maddie, your dad wants to talk to you.
That's what I thought you were talking about earlier, is the old guy. I couldn't remember his line. But yeah, he's creepy, and then the girls are really into him, but he's like in his 30s. But he's like kind of flirty. It's not even so much
like Hayden, just Tina's just...
Oh, yeah.
He's smiling at her, and she's smiling at him, and he walks away, and she says, oh, he's so hot. I love this uniform.
Yeah.
And Jacob's like, wow, this is so cool that they're on this actual aircraft carrier. I'm like, well, yeah, because... They're just talking about how hot all the sailors are, and that's a very much well-known thing and sometimes a controversial thing within different circles that there's Hollywood or television productions that do get access to military personnel and consultants in places like this. But it's just because the military is like, this is how we want it to look, and it's just essentially serving as propaganda for the military to paint them in the best light. And that is my biggest issue with this movie, because coming out in 2004, we're 3 years from 9/11, probably about a year from the Iraq War starting. So we're already starting to get into maybe more negative people being upset, especially with the Iraq War. And Disney's like, we'll make a pro-Navy movie now. Disney.
They know.
They know where their bread is buttered.
The bread is buttered.
So then Maddie talks with her dad in one of the first of many daddy-daughter drama scenes that always seem to take place on a lower deck by the sea.
I don't feel like the drama
screen.
between them is like too wild like we've got in other movies, drama between parents.
I mean, we get like 4 scenes like this in the movie. So this one, it's first starting out that it's very awkward because he doesn't really know how to like talk to his daughter because he's never around. Maddie's like, how many elementary schools did I go to? He says 4. Oh, it's
She's like
5. So very understandable why Maddie is upset at her dad. And as I said earlier, I thought Hayden was a good actress in this.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman in these scenes, he's a little not so strong, but there's a reason why he's in this movie, and we'll get a couple of those.
Yeah, we'll see those scenes later.
Then Anthony, remember the drumming kid? He has a near-death experience.
This was wild. They're out on the deck of the ship, and like he just, I don't know what he's warned that they're not allowed to wear hats out on the deck. And he's like, whatever. So like he takes it off. He takes it off, and then he goes out there and he puts his hat immediately on, and then it blows off, and he like starts to chase it, but he dodoesn't. It like blows off the ship.
But then he just goes off, and he
starts like twirling, and he's like, "Woo! I love this wind." And
because he's got a big winter coat on. And I was like, oh, he's just letting the wind blow it up to look really big.
That's what I thought he was doing too.
But then I think we're supposed to think that
like it's blowing him away.
He just keeps getting blown away. Then Maddie and Tina
they chase him, and he blows off the side of the ship.
But there's a net there. But there's a moment where we think a child died.
He's dead.
Because I think that was the front of the ship, maybe. So he would have fallen off and like immediately gotten hit by the ship or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
If only.
That was pretty wild, though.
I know I wasn't advocating for him dying.
That was pretty wild. That was weird.
And then we already get another daddy-daughter drama scene again.
Yeah.
My notes here is this is definite propaganda.
There were no repercussions from like falling off the side of the ship either.
They get in trouble for some stuff, but not that.
They didn't even help him up. He was just stuck in the net for who knows how long.
So I think this is where I was already starting to pick up on clearly where this movie was going to go. That, I'm mad that you're in the military, but then the 9/11's going to happen, and then I'll be saying you got to fight for our country. And spoilers, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And then we get another title card of September 10th, 2001. So all of that
it was a long day.
In a single day.
I think we're forgetting some of the things that the Tiger crew members did, like fun stuff they did.
Yeah, they made paper airplanes.
Yeah.
There's conversations between Joey, the fucking ice cream kid, and the old creepy fat guy. And Joey's like, I only piss the bed when I drink a lot of soda.
And then he starts slurping down a whole pop.
Some soda.
That was
Tina
funny.
talks to her sister, and she's just like a freaking military otaku, where she's just, oh my god, I can't wait to wear a uniform. And I'm like, okay.
And the dad, Tiger, meets his son, I think, in the kitchen, and they talk about making cookies.
Yeah, the creep old guy.
Yes.
So I just write, the bad kids sneak out to watch takeoffs.
The bad kids.
So it's really Tina, who's not that bad, but then Hayden and Anthony, who are pretty bad.
Anthony's the instigator all the time.
So he's like, hey, I got access. But what he means is he just knows what door to go through. Go out.
Then they're like all sneaky, and eventually they steal like some like uniforms.
They get child-sized flight technician uniforms,
and they're out on
nobody notices that they're essentially like little Ewoks walking around with helmets on.
I don't know. They're underneath a plane trying to take pictures of her
So they're
sister.
on the actual flight deck.
Yes.
So they're towards the end so they can see the runway and where they're taking off. And they're like, we don't want to be where everybody else is,
so
where you can have decent view. So we'll go somewhere dangerous. And these test flights that they're doing, they're launching actual missiles into the water.
Yeah, that does happen.
So your tax dollars at work for the Tigers.
The reason they're out here, they're trying to find the one girl's sister, right?
Well, or just getting cool action shots, including when the sister's takes off. Tina's sister.
But they do get spotted.
They get caught.
And then it's like a little chase. They get chased, and then they hide down in a stairwell, and they're like, haha, because the guy runs past them. And they're like, they couldn't catch us. And then some guy comes up behind him, and he's like, haha, I caught you. Oh. And then they got in trouble. And then they get in trouble. And then
this is where we see the commanding officer of the ship who chews them out.
Yes.
And then he sends the kids away, and the family members who are their...
get notified.
Mama tiger, daddy
tiger. And they're told
tiger.
not to go hard on them, but they rip into them. Each and every one just rips them a new hole.
Yeah. So we get another daddy-daughter scene. And then we get an Anthony-brother scene.
That one was the most intense one, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's like the last scene we get with that brother for most of the rest of the movie.
Yeah, like he is pissed. He goes off on little bro.
So at this point in the movie, and I have this in my notes, I'm thinking, man, can't 9/11 just happen already?
Wow,
let's get this movie rolling along.
Jesus.
Tom, the creepy officer, or Peepin' Tom, he talks to Maddie and he says, hey, your dad wants to talk. Or no, he says, hey, I know you're kind of mad at your dad, but you know what? Your dad's really great.
Your dad is like a real dad.
He's like our daddy. And
she's like that.
It's like that's kind of a nice thing to say, but the obvious thing of what Maddie will be mad about was like, well, he's not a dad to me. I'm glad he's a dad for you guys who enlisted out of high school or whatever, but he's not my military daddy.
Not my daddy.
So that leads to another drama scene between her and her dad, I think. He says, my dream, what I've worked my whole career for, is I want to command my own ship.
And they want to take it away from me.
You're asking me to give that up?
Yeah.
But then he immediately goes, family's the most important thing to me. Yes. So I was able to talk to your mom on the phone. Whoa, you got phones on this ship? And then he says, like, hey, if you want me to be a more serious family man, I'll give it all up. And Maddie's like, okay, cool. Thanks. I'm glad it only took 15 or 16 years of my life to have that happen.
Thanks, Dad.
I'll come home after this, and obviously nothing's going to go wrong. This is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect little bow tied on this movie.
Exactly.
Then we get the dawn of 9/11.
Oh, no.
So alarms are sounding off. It's early in the morning.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m.
Because they're in Hawaii area, roughly.
No.
There's the crew running around, and Maddie was running around to see like what's happening, and nobody's paying her any attention because 9/11 done happened.
Yeah, it's panic time. But like everybody's like waking up. She's having to wake up her friends. The little kid wakes up, and then he wakes up the dad, Tiger, and he smashes his head on the thing, and he's freaking out. He doesn't know what's going on. He's like, oh, it's Pearl Harbor all over again.
He's like, it's 9/11. Do you remember where you were? I was on the Tiger Cruise.
He knew.
So then on the bridge, they have 4 giant video screens that all somehow have a direct feed video of a panoramic city view of New York City, where we're seeing the smoking Twin Towers, where realistically it would be like actual news footage that it's getting fed to them, but it's just stuff that you would see after the fact because everybody was filming it. So it was kind of funny. And also I'm like, why would the bridge of this ship have no windows? Because everything that looked like it should have been a window was a flat screen TV.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
But it's just all 4 of the exact same image. So then the tigers kind of get gathered up in one space, or they film this so that everybody can see it, because there's 800 tigers, but we never see even close to 800 people.
We do see a lot of people at the very end out on the deck when they're spreading out the flag.
I guess that's true. So this is why Bill Pullman is in this movie, because he's giving
his moment to shine.
His motivational speech about how we've been attacked by aliens, illegal aliens.
Oh, no.
And he says, this will be our 9/11. And I'm like, Disney Channel. After this movie is Halloween Town High. That's not emotional whiplash at all. You want to talk about parental issues? Marnie, am I right?
Marnie.
So everybody's scared and serious for basically the duration of the movie. There's no more fun to be had in this movie.
That's not true.
You're right. That's right. So Anthony is worried about his dad, who lives in New York, or maybe I just assumed that he's worried about his dad. The old guy, creepy old guy whose son works in the kitchen, his brother. So the kid's uncle.
Works in the Pentagon.
And he's like, watching the news. He's like, we gotta go to fucking war. Let's invade their asses. And another guy's like, we don't even know who did this yet. No, we gotta fucking kill them.
We know who did it. They never do name drop any specifics.
They don't show Osama bin Laden's video where he takes credit for the attack or anything like that.
Osama.
And the tension, especially here, where it's like one dad who's like, hey, maybe we should like just be patient and try to learn out some more stuff. And then the creepy old guy being like, no, let's fucking murder everybody. Felt very like the end of The Dark Knight with the ferry scene that probably most people forget even happens in that movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just kind of funny. That's where Christopher Nolan got the inspiration for it, was Tiger Cruise. Then there's some concern from Bill Pullman, military daddy, about, hey, logistically, we've got 800 people probably from all over the country on this ship. Yeah. They're grounding commercial air travel. How are we going to get all these tigers home?
True.
So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing, just thinking about. Beyond just, wow, this is crazy that 9/11 happened during this movie, that there's some extra thought to the details of having 800 people on a fucking ship.
Yeah.
Then it kind of just is like, we'll just get rid of them here. And then it's all fine. My next note is just military and drama porn, in parentheses, yawn. So yes, everybody's sad and serious. Then we're getting some munitions from another ship. So we're seeing them loading up missiles into the ship and on man's the planes.
Like, what are they doing? I know that's munitions. He's like, well, and then Hayden's dad is like, well, we always carry stuff on here. We're just preparing.
So he wanted to go to war, but he doesn't want them to go to war if I'm on the ship.
Yeah. That's it.
Eventually, when they do kind of say, oh, we're going off now. See you later, Tiger Cruise. They're on the West Coast. They are very far away from the Middle East. So they ain't going to be in action for a while.
No.
Speaking of the West Coast, Bill Pullman tells Maddie that, hey, we're going to drop you off at a base in San Diego, but I'm going to be going back out.
Yeah.
Then we learn that my notes are quickly wrapping up that this movie is over, because I said this movie is the setup to the Tiger Cruise, some funny ship shenanigans, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11.
You have the scene written down when they're in the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that happens on 9/12.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly when the date switches over.
So we haven't laughed in since that happened.
I haven't laughed at all at anything I'm supposed to laugh at. But we learned that the mean old guy's brother died.
He did die. Which
was a scene that started with Hayden talking to her dad, and then he comes into the bridge, mean old guy, and says, got any news? And Jacob jokingly said, he's dead. But then it was that he was reported missing, and I guess we don't know for sure if he actually died, but
we assume
that is the assumption, yeah.
There are some scenes where Hayden cries. She does good cry.
As I said, drama porn. There's lots of people crying.
She's a good crier.
She's consoling.
There were some fake children crying for no reason, too. I guess we were just scared.
She consoles some random kids
say no reason.
Who are just like, and then they play fucking dominoes or some shit.
Yeah.
Anthony has a very heartfelt speech where, again, I thought he was kind of worried about his dad, because he's like, I'm from Staten Island.
Yeah, he talks about all of his, but
then he just talks about his friends' parents.
He's like, I had a lot of friends, and the parents worked in that building.
Not like my deadbeat dad, though.
Yeah, he's like, it wasn't even an eyesore. I liked looking at the building.
Yeah, so he starts it off by saying, oh, I had a friend who, their dad worked there. And then he's like, man, those buildings are pretty cool. I'm going to miss looking at them and the sound reflecting off of them. And we were joking, escalating of my friend, his dad worked there, and my other friend, he was an airplane. I'm worried about him right now. He was JJ the jet plane.
Oh, no.
Then eventually we get to the real crowning moment of this movie, which is where they go full stomp live in the kitchen.
That was awesome. That was
making cupcakes.
Easily the best part of it. I don't even... Okay, so Anthony, he's always banging with his drumsticks. He always has drumsticks.
Always.
But he starts banging on a pot, and then the old man's son, the baker, starts banging on some pans. And then the little kid starts taking a hose, and
somebody's got whisks,
hosing stuff, and they're whisking, and they're hitting spoons.
They're eating cupcakes, whipping up frosting.
It's a cool audio. It's a cool audio scene.
Well, yeah, it's definitely something where it starts off with the real audio, and then eventually just is like, they're not making these actual noises.
It's cool. It sounded cool.
And then it ends, and they all laugh and it's like, oh, that was a nice scene where you're showing them trying to get rid of some of like the tensions and the extreme emotions they're dealing with. And then Hayden Panettiere has to be like, wow, I can't remember the last time we laughed. This is what the point of this scene is.
Oh, that's when we laughed.
I'm like, oh, thank you for not having any subtlety in this movie about 9/11. Do you remember? By Michael Jackson.
Oh, do you remember the 21st of September?
Oh, well, that's
the
not
11th of September.
So then, as a good patriot and citizen, Maddie then goes the next morning to the commanding officer of the ship, and she says, hey, there's something we need to do. What's that? We gotta get a big old flag, mission accomplished style.
Big old flag.
Spread it out, this massive flag.
Did you say mission accomplished style?
Yes. But that flag is actually smaller than this flag.
Oh.
But they spread this big flag out
it's
across
big.
like the whole deck of the aircraft carrier.
Like they probably had to use all 800 people to hold it up.
And for whatever reason, Luck of the Irish, they end with singing a patriotic song. They don't do that in the movie about fucking 9/11.
No, they do wave the flag for a while.
I mostly just point that out to...
The kids are playing like, if there was a game in... Do you remember the game in school? It was like a parachute. Where you'd hold the parachute out and be run underneath it. That's what the kids were doing.
The game was awesome.
They're running underneath the flag.
They're kissing underneath the American flag.
Yes.
Hey, remember the time?
That was the older guy, though, and that one girl were doing that. No. Not the older creepy guy, the 30-year-old guy. The 30-year-old.
Maybe we should refer to characters more than just that guy.
That guy. Their age. Not the old man that talks like this.
So then they arrive at the harbor in San Diego. Bill Pullman gets to give another rousing speech where he says, hey, you're better than tigers. You handled yourself well, except for when that old guy yelled at me and all you kids were crying. But you know what? You're honorary sailors. Actually, you're enlisted in the military. We need everybody to help us right now. We're going to war.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yep, you got your Bill Pullman money's worth to have two.
Like the speeches were good. Like they were good. Yeah. And like I said, like
I mean, I think essentially, so like Spaceballs, that was before Independence Day, and I think basically after Independence Day, it's just he's character actor of
good speeches,
commander, president, whatever.
No.
We get scenes of all the different family members, even family members we haven't seen in quite a while, like Anthony's brother.
The brother and like one kid's hot mom. And
according to Jacob, he says, why wasn't this movie all about the mom? Why wasn't she mixing up some frosting in the kitchen?
What the hell? Disney missed a perfect opportunity.
It's all stuff like, oh, I'm really proud of you and I'm really happy. And they're like, yeah, thank you for your support. I really want to continue on this ship and then go fight in a mostly meaningless war.
But the kids were literally dumped off here. Like they're not going anywhere. They don't have plans for them because they can't get them home. Some of the kids live in New York, but they're getting dropped off in San Diego.
Well, they're probably not racing to get back to New York. As we've mentioned a couple of times, Maddie draws pictures, so she's
been wanting to give her father one.
But he's been too busy with this 9/11 bullshit. Stuff. Come on. What a terrible father.
So
she had drawn one of him that's very elaborate.
It's good.
Got his uniform on. There's an American flag there.
Yeah, it's a good drawing.
So she gives it to him. And,
he rips it up, and that's the end of the movie.
She's saying like, oh, what if something else happens? What if our president somehow uses this opportunity to make up a lie about Iraq having weapons of mass destruction and gets us embroiled in another endless and meaningless war? And at least in Afghanistan, we're there for another 20 years. Then she's just like, I'm really glad you're fighting. And he's like, you sure? You sure that you want me to continue on this ship?
He does. He says that, you sure?
Which, realistically, even if she said no, he probably wouldn't be able to get out of it.
No.
But maybe Bill Pullman's like, I actually don't want to, like, hey.
I don't want to die.
I was in the first Gulf War, but that was like a week or something, I don't really want to do this, so please say you don't want me. No, country is more important than family, Bill Pullman. You are a patriot and a hero.
Oh, boy.
So then the final line of the movie comes where his dad
some random says, "Are you an art?" He says
it wasn't even Peepin' Tom.
No, it was some random guy at the end. He's like, "Oh, is that your father? Oh, he's a great man. I love him."
So that means you're a Navy brat.
Yeah. He says, "Are you a Navy brat?"
And then she's like, and says, "You're goddamn right.
I'm a brat. I am a brat," is what she says.
But I am not one of the brats with a Z.
Z.
That's a different movie that I probably would have rather watched than Tiger Cruise.
And then immediately cut back to the flag scene, people running into the flag.
Yeah, some rousing music. We get the kind of an overlapped image of the flag with the boat. Yeah, I don't know. And I joked about how funny it would be if it ended with, those informative title cards of, on September 11th, 2001. 5,000 whatever people perished in the Twin Towers.
Sad.
I know this is a difficult movie to really talk about, and I probably maybe offended some people. We've talked about it so far.
We just lost 8 subscribers.
But as they talk about, hey, never forget. But we're hitting 20 years. This will be the 20th anniversary this year. Finally, we'll be getting, according to Biden, getting the troops out of Afghanistan. After 20 years, but after about 10 years, I think it was pretty fair game to make jokes about 9/11. So, I mean, hey, we can't care too much about however many people died then after this last year we've had, when people have not cared so much about combating the coronavirus and managing themselves.
Human life.
So anyways, that was Tiger Cruise.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed.
Weird.
The shortest episode we've ever done.
Let's see. Yeah, we're not ending yet, but this is already around how long that our quote-unquote mini episode was.
Yeah.
But we took some loosey-goosey notes, but really, this movie, very clear what its intentions were. It was...
How long was it? Do you remember?
It was about 90 minutes long.
Okay.
Yeah, its intentions were clear. I've said multiple times now, the plot structure was, here's an excuse to have something happened during 9/11 and have this nice thing about the military or whatever. And that's fine. Just, I don't know if we needed it on Disney Channel.
I mean, what have been our other ones? We had Cadet Kelly.
I don't look at Cadet Kelly as...
No, but I mean, like,
military
this involving
propaganda.
the military. Is that it, though? Is that the only other military one we've had so far?
Yeah, thankfully.
And yeah, like you said, that wasn't really like a big military.
No, they're not going to make a Tiger Cruise-like movie in 2012 or anything. This is obviously, since it deals directly with 9/11, this is obviously in response to stuff that was happening at the time. I just think, hey, Disney owns ABC. They make ABC family movies. This can maybe work there better, because if Jacob was the programming manager of Disney Channel at this time, he'd say, excuse me, where is the magic up in this bitch?
Yeah, where's the magic? They could have did some, like, 9/11 on steroids.
They could have prevented 9/11 from happening.
What if they prevented it from happening?
Hey, now you see me.
Oh my God.
They make, was it David Copperfield or...
Disappear? They make the towers disappear for a moment.
Before the airplanes go into them. We look at some of these more serious DCOMs, which this is one... But unlike something like The Color of Friendship or True Confessions, where, dealing with racism, dealing with mental health issues and bullying and being nicer to people, this is just like, hey, respect the troops. Yeah. Respect the troops and the flag.
I think it was a good family-oriented film for the time, though.
Yeah. Well acted enough.
I was going to say, it's like life lesson movies. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie. It's not a great movie.
Jacob has literally said Color of Friendship is a bad movie.
I never said it was a bad movie.
You said it was in the bottom 5.
I never said it was a bad movie, though.
Your list was the most magical Disney Channel original movie.
Like this one's not going to be in my top 10 of the next 50.
Well, so this is where I ask you, Jacob. I put you on the spot because we have, Stuck in the Suburbs came out after our mini episode. We recorded it before, so I haven't had the chance on air to get you with a gotcha question of saying, Jacob, is Tiger Cruise better than The Color of Friendship?
I wouldn't say it's better. I'd say they're about equal on my rating scales.
Of magical.
Yeah.
Magic movies like the Even Stevens movie. How does Beans eat all that bacon without dying?
True.
Okay, so if you want to write in and let us know about how offended you are
yeah.
about me being mad at Jacob about racism and you being mad at me about not respecting the truths. It's not that I don't respect them. I think they were just misused and they should have just made cupcakes forever. That's all they should do. Make the aircraft carrier just a giant cupcake factory. So you can write us at awholnewpod@gmail.com like Adele did. Adele, who has written into us before. She writes, "Hi, Lucas and Jacob. You sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole with the Stuck in the Suburbs episode. I agree Stuck in the Middle with You was a weird choice for a DCOM aimed at children and tweens in the early 2000s. Had they even ever heard the song? But that got me thinking. I'd always assumed the song was by George Harrison, as it always sounded slightly Beatle-y to me. Wikipedia told me it was actually Stealers Wheel, a folk rock band from Scotland.
Wow.
Found a music video performance of the song from 1973. It was actually rather good. So now I've spent my Friday off work, post-vax benefits, baby." I could have read that better. Post-vax benefits, baby. So yes, get vaccinated, and you can have days off looking at YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Combing through info on a group that hasn't been a thing since 1975 instead of painting my bathroom as was the plan. I think we can all relate to that. Oh, and I used to listen to you through Stitcher, but since they updated the app, I find it unbearable, so I'm on Podbean now, and I appear to be your only subscriber there. I'll leave lots of glowing reviews and comments to net in the Podbean audience for you. Carry on, gentlemen.
Awesome.
So, a lot to get into there. Thank you, Adele, for writing in and for finding us. Yeah, Podbean, I don't think I've done anything to get on there, but probably is one of those podcatcher places that we just end up in different places.
It works.
So I guess Google Play, I've heard they did some update that made things worse. So now I guess Stitcher is one that has gotten worse. And I saw some people saying they don't like the Apple Podcast app that much. I mean, it's not amazing, but I don't think it's that bad. But it's the only thing I've ever used. Yeah, that's interesting, the details about Stuck in the Suburbs, where that's why I looked up, because I thought, for some reason, I thought it was Steely Dan. And I don't even know why. But I looked up who it was, and I probably saw the same name as you, and I was like, I have no idea who that is. And they definitely were a one-hit wonder, I bet, if they ended in 1975. And, but hey, it's a heck of a song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
And could you ask for a better song while people are riding around on a bicycle eating ice cream while being chased by a pop star's manager in a minivan?
Jordan Cahill!
That was such a good movie. That was a magical movie.
I like Stuck in the Suburbs probably more than this movie, but this movie was better made, I think, than Stuck in the Suburbs.
Like, I thought it was cool how much stuff was filmed actually on the aircraft carrier.
Yes. Again, access granted to them for this military propaganda.
I thought it was good. The like we talked about, the acting was good. The camera was good. Outside of
the camera
quality was good. Outside of the random, like, weird archival, like I only saw like one or two of them though, like where it was like archival footage, like the jet taking off.
There was probably like 10 shots that were grainier film quality that were taken from whenever of planes taking off. But yeah, overall, it's a decent looking film. Yeah. But like Adele mentioned in there, you should, wherever you find us, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Play, apparently is shit, Stitcher, also garbage, or Spotify, you can find us on those platforms, rate us and review us on those.
Thumbs up, likes.
As, yes, YouTube, where
comments,
you can use that
subscribe,
like button
bell,
on our videos.
Hit that bell.
We recently passed 200 subscribers, so I think we're pretty close to getting one of those play buttons they send in the mail, right? So that's cool as we rack up those. So if you got friends and family, throw out some recommendations of us to them.
Yes.
And they'll be like, oh, do they watch Aladdin? And you'll say, no, not even Aladdin, Prince of Thieves. Have you heard of Halloween Town?
Have you heard of Quince?
So while we're recording this, we are doing it the Saturday, day before the Oscars, the 2021 Oscars.
Oh.
So last year we did predictions.
I honestly don't even... do you have the list of movies?
We're not doing it. What I'm saying is we were so good last year. Why do it again? I nailed Parasite as Best Picture. And I don't know if we nailed the other stuff so much.
I don't even know what movies are up.
No, that's the thing.
I haven't seen a movie in the last year.
2020, wild year, and that kind of is reflected in the nominees There's some good movies nominated. I've only seen a couple.
Do you have any movie suggestions for people or show suggestions?
I was just going to bring up a joke about how my predictive powers were exhausted when we watched WrestleMania. And
you were good. You're perfect.
I nailed all of Jacob and Dustin's fantasy sport bets for WrestleMania. So they got $7 each or whatever.
Yeah, like $7.
So I will be coming to collect. You hear that, Dustin? Yeah, we're not going to predict the Oscars, but I will actually watch them. Not in the form normally, but I'll watch Tim Heidecker's On Cinema's Oscar special. I paid some money to watch that this year.
Ooh. I was going to say my suggestion for a show or movie is Shadow and Bone on Netflix.
Oh, did that come out?
Yeah, it's actually really... I watched like an episode or two. It's really cool.
You know, we joked about this, I think, in the mini episode. Not really a joke, just an observation, but I struggle with motivation to watch like a drama show. It's like I kind of want to get into something.
Yeah.
I kind of just don't I don't know. I just don't got it in me. So
you just keep finding yourself watching Mystery Men over and over.
I just watch YouTube videos and Twitch streams, and there's like anime I want to watch, but then it's like I don't want to read subtitles because I'm too tired. But playing some more video games. Yeah, Tiger Cruise keeping us down in the dumps.
Yeah, it's Quince.
Hopefully everybody is enjoying 2021. Hopefully we're moving in the right direction. We're staying consistent on the schedule.
Yeah.
So I think everybody needs to remember to never forget this episode of A Whole New Pod.
Always pay your taxes.
Where were you when they built the ladder to heaven?
Oh my God.
Did you make you cry? Or did you think it was? I won't say that last part.
It's on. Together for the 14th annual Middlebrook Elementary Best Kids Awards. Yeah. With appearances by Matt C., Mark, Patrick, Christina, Brett's new stepdad, the Moreno twins, Nurse Brownlee, Sarah, Jeffrey, Snoop Dogg, Small Brian, Tori, Landon, Chelsea's old friend, Tanner, Mad On, Tall Brian, Royce to 5'9", and Kevin. With special guests David, Evan, Brett's real dad, Deion Sanders, and Corey. With special musical performances by Aaron's older brother's band, Shakira, Bethany, Custodian Rick, Andre 3000, and Mr. Shields. And now, for your hosts, Hunter and Alex.
I swear they don't even get along.
They haven't talked to each other.
They've been talking. Are you serious?
Yeah.